And this is the global forecast for August 2018. Where the hell do you start? After the eclipses of July, the world's a bit of a different place. But it's still changing rapidly. And for almost everyone, I've been saying, look, bide your time. August is a time of patience. Despite the impatience, August is a time of patience because clear actions aren't going to evolve until September. There's one more eclipse to come. There's a partial eclipse of the sun on the 11th of August, eerily reminiscent of the total eclipse of the sun of the 11th of August 1999. And if you're one of the people who did get affected by that, then please be aware of this around this August the 11th, and just be a little bit cautious. It's not that easy, an eclipse. It's nowhere near as big as the eclipse of the moon that's just passed, but it's still a little bit dodgy. We have a large number of retrogrades. Pluto is still retrograde in Capricorn, standing still at the end of September. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. Uranus is just about to start going retrograde in early Taurus. Saturn is retrograde in Capricorn. Jupiter's just stopped going retrograde. Mars is retrograde at the end of Aquarius, at the start of Aquarius and then the end of Capricorn. Venus is going to start going retrograde at the beginning of October, and of course we're in a Mercury retrograde. So many retrogrades. Mercury, Mars, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn at the moment, Uranus within a week. So there'll be 6 planets retrograde by the second week of August. When all these planets are retrograde, this is not a time of major change. This is not a time of growth and expansion. It's a time of retrospect, reassessment, reevaluation, reconsideration. What have we done so far collectively this year? How do we want to, is it working? How do we want to change it for the future? It gets more difficult. Mars is retrograde at the start of Aquarius, and over the next couple of weeks, through to about the 13th of August, he's going to be in the first 2 degrees of Aquarius. Uranus is going retrograde in the first 2 degrees of Taurus, so it's a Mars-Uranus square. Reminiscent of mid-May, 3rd week of May. And those of you with good memories will remember what was happening in the 3rd week of May, the angst, the extremes that were going on in people's lives, and this is the second phase of this. This is the reassessment time. So it's going to be a pretty weird next couple of weeks. And of course, there's a bloody Mercury retrograde as well, squaring Jupiter. So things are not going to be balanced and stable. You're going to see a lot of people going over the top, making outlandish statements. Situations are rapidly going to spiral out of control. The sensible amongst us will actually do nothing, sit back, watch, and deliberately choose not to go to extremes. Fortunately, it's not going to be quite as difficult as May, but I do suspect that the first couple of weeks of August are going to see some pretty weird developments amongst the politicians, the economists, the bankers, maybe even military, who knows. But of all these retrogrades, we're not going to be able to make sense of it all. Venus, I'm not worried about. Venus is moving from Virgo into Libra, slowing down, getting ready to go retrograde in Scorpio, but that's not for a couple of months yet. We don't need to look at that. And Jupiter rocketing forward in Scorpio, that's actually looking nice. The bonus for this month is what Jupiter's doing to Neptune, trining Neptune all month. That's going to be enhancing a number of people's lives, particularly in terms of bringing in imagination, art, intuition, empathy, compassion. It's not so much material, it's more intuitive. A lot of people are going to be getting some really interesting dreams this month. But my worry is that with all these retrograde planets, there's going to be the obvious wild cards who are just going to be frothing at the mouth, who are going to be spitting out vitriol, and it's just going to get more and more extreme. By the time we're into the 13th of August, Mars moves retrograde into Capricorn. The energy will subtly change. The Mars-Uranus square will kind of dissipate a little bit, even though it's there in the background until mid-September. The Mercury retrograde stops on the 19th of August. After this time, we'll begin to start seeing the first vestiges of sanity reappearing. But with almost every sign, I've said this is one of the most difficult times of the year, especially the first couple of weeks of August. So if the Earth were my client and all its people were one, I'd be saying, look, just stay below the radar screen. Don't hide, but don't take action. You can dream, you can intuit, you can envisage things to do. And the more you get into the middle of August, the more you can change those dreams, visions and ideas into blueprints, schedule and plan. But don't take action. Wait until the end of August, start of September. You'll be really glad you did. Have a good month, folks, and all things being equal, because I have got some pretty big surgery coming up this month, all things being equal, I'll see you in a month's time.